Bibby feels embarrassed while Caitlin Clark commands Fever as acting coach. Funny how fate works, right? Back in college, Caitlin Clark couldn't get past Bibby and Maryland. 4 tries, 4 losses. What she never imagined then was that Bibby would one day sub in for her on a WNBA roster. And, even more unexpected, that both would eventually be sidelined, sharing the Fever bench as partners in recovery. Clark suffered an injury during the July 15th game against the Connecticut Sun. This wasn't her first soft tissue setback of the season, as she had already missed time due to quad and groin issues. After weeks of uncertainty, the Fever star recently announced that she will not be returning this season. Meanwhile, Bibby, who joined the Fever in late July on a 7-day contract, quickly made an impact on Indiana's injury-depleted roster. In 9 games with the team, she averaged 3.9 points in 9.8 minutes per game, shooting 39.1% from beyond the arc. The Fever later signed the Australian forward to a rest-of-season contract, hoping to bolster the squad. Unfortunately, earlier this month, it was announced that Bibby is also out for the season with a left knee injury, making her the 5th Fever player to end their season prematurely. But whether or not they're on the floor, Clark and Bibby have been showing up for their team. While their presence on the sidelines is all about support, the cameras can't seem to resist capturing their every move. During ESPN's broadcast of Minnesota versus Indiana, the two got a close-up that had fans laughing and, well, simping. In a viral clip, both wore the exact same expression, and what followed almost looked like Bibby was unintentionally shadowing Clark's every move. Cece tucked her hair back, leaned into her seat with her index finger pressed against her lip in that classic thinking pose. A beat later, Bibby, without realizing, mirrored the exact same gesture. The clip went viral almost instantly, with one fan writing, "Caitlin and Chloe's face cards are fire." Bibby saw it and couldn't help but laugh at herself, reposting with, "No, because this is embarrassing face with tears of joy. Why did I do the exact same thing?" Well, if only she could hear us, it wasn't embarrassing at all. And those face cards in question? They sure more than did their job. And speaking of jobs, Caitlin Clark hasn't just taken over as the Fever's lead cheerleader, she might as well be the acting coach too. Weeks into being sidelined, we've already seen her drawing up plays and directing teammates. Against the Lynx, she was at it again. The Fever stormed out to a 10-0 start, capped by an Odyssey Sims jumper. That's when Clark leapt off the bench, emphatically signaling for a timeout, only this wasn't for Indiana. She was clearly motioning at Cheryl Reeve to call one for Minnesota. And Reeve listened. ESPN's X account even posted the clip with the caption, "Caitlin Clark calling a timeout for the Lynx grinning face was wet," which has already racked up 330K plus views. In another moment, Clark was seen passionately explaining something to her teammates. No mic picked it up, but it sure looked like she was breaking down adjustments. The most interesting part has to be she was coaching against none other than Reeve, a coach she has a history with. But whatever Clark was preaching, it worked. Indiana toppled the league-best Lynx to close out their regular season. The Fever came out blazing, doubling up Minnesota 28-14 in the first quarter as Aerial Powers torched her former team for 8 quick points. Minnesota went ice cold from deep 0 of 9 in the opening quarter, and even though they clawed back late, Indiana held firm to seal an 83-72 win.